What's up, guys? I'm here with JP in second place, also the fifth representative for the NA region, Kayden himself.
Hey.
We're just doing a short little interview today. Just wanted to ask you a few questions. I know it's a little late after Nats, but I know everyone was struggling to get back home through the snowstorm and stuff like that. Um, so what are your expectations going into the '09 Nats?
Yeah, so I expected just a lot of Dofi. I assume that's just like the number one deck for people to bring. I actually expected a good amount of Lucci just because it's good against Dofi and a lot of people like the deck. And then just like general meta stuff like some Shanks, some Purple Luffy. I actually expected BY and Blackbeard to be a little underrepresented this event. And I assume that's just because like the meta's like not super developed yet, and Blackbeard's not great into Dofi. And then BY has like a not great matchup into Blackbeard as well. So I assume those two decks would be a little bit underrepresented for this format, or for this event at least. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's my basic expectations. Lots of Dofi, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about where our expectations were going in. I think the only thing is I knew up front that a lot of like the higher like a lot of the top players were definitely like not leaving BY. That was like the only
Mhm.
thing I knew going into it that I was like I have to be like scared to play Lucci.
That
But
makes
yeah,
sense.
besides that, I think my read was about the exact same. Did you play like a lot or like a high quantity of any of the matchups? Like a lot of Dofi or Shanks or anything? Or did you have a pretty good spread?
I played a lot of, I think, Lucci and Dofi. I think in my Swiss rounds, I played around 3 to 4 each. That was like a good chunk of it, right? Because it was 9 rounds. I think I played like one Shanks and one Purple Luffy, but besides that, it was like Dofi and Lucci across the board. So it's
Gotcha.
pretty within expectations, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I say mine was I think similar. I think I played four Dofi and then I think I only played one mirror, I think. Or no, I played two. Yeah, I played two mirrors and then I played four Dofi, a Shanks, and a Shanks. So
Nice.
That's a
about the
lot.
same.
A lot on BY,
Yeah,
right? I think you cooked a BY.
Oh yeah, I played a VY too.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
I only played three Dofi.
nice.
That's what it was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a very weird run. No, I think I had a really good spread actually, which is really nice. It was like double Luffy, double Shanks, double Dofi, and then like RP Luffy, and shit, the other two are I'm blanking on, but yeah, it was a pretty good spread. It was nice.
Yeah. I don't think I saw anybody where they had like crazy spreads. Like everyone seemed pretty well balanced from what it looked like. I
Nice.
was I was honestly shocked because like last night I saw so many people who were like, yeah, I played eight BYs like
Yeah.
round day one stuff
Jesus.
like that, and I'm just like, yeah, this seems awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, the meta seemed very healthy for this event. I don't know if it'll stay that way, but for this event, everything seemed pretty well like evenly spread. Besides maybe Blackbeard was like non-existent,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the
I like
ones
that.
that there was like the few who took it, it seemed like they converted pretty well for how few there were.
Yeah, hard deck, but I think we're in a really cool meta where it's like, I don't know, everything's kind of good, and you can make an argument to play anything. I think, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. There's like six, probably seven, like all like varied, like highly like capable decks that could like top an event. I think besides Dofi being like your guaranteed number one, I think like anything else can like shift based off like preference.
That-
What was your like preparation going into the event?
yeah, I practiced for sure against a lot of Dofi. I actually really wasn't sure. My first for general like I guess prepping, I like have to pick a deck first, and then I go into like matchups and stuff. And that's just based off of my read of the meta. But I practiced against a lot of Dofi, a lot of Purple Luffy, because that's what my friends played mainly. I did a little bit of BY and Blackbeard testing. Not as much as I should have, maybe, but I didn't have a whole lot of time with this deck. So mainly the Purple Luffy and then the Dofi matchups. I kind of have the Lucci mirror down, so it's not too bad. And then Shanks, it's just about like drawing well and then hitting what I need, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty much it. It's mainly Dofi and Purple Luffy, I think.
gotcha. I was gonna say, why did you pick Lucci
Yeah,
if
so
you
I
have like a
actually
specific reason?
when I first started the game in like July, August-ish, I actually started with Lucci. Lucci's kind of my deck of choice. It just fits what I want to do with the game and what I like to do in games in general. Just like pressure and milling and control. I actually wasn't gonna pick Lucci at the start. I was gonna play Shanks, and I thought that Shanks had like a good overall 50-50, matchup spread throughout the board. And I kind of like that Lucci has like your ideal turns are like it's based off of like what you have in hand and what you have in drop, right? But Shanks is just you have a card and you play it every turn. So it's like more consistent where you just like draw the cards you need and you just play it one by one every turn. But then I swapped to Lucci because I got smashed in the Dofi mirror, or sorry, the Dofi matchup, and I got bullied into playing Lucci again. And it was a good pick. It was a good pick. I wouldn't change that.
I got you. I think the guy who also got top 8 with Lucci for Nats was in the exact same boat as you, where like last second he swapped to Shanks, or swapped off Shanks, basically, like 2 weeks before the event, and he was just like in the same boat where it's like everything's 50-50, but then like once you start playing, you just like it's so much of it is just like, did I draw a perfect curve, and if I didn't, my deck folds like so much quicker than it should.
Right. Right. I agree with that.
Yeah. And if you're doing that, just play Ploofy then, right? Because you're gonna
true.
it's the same thing but with a higher roll.
Searchers are nice. Searchers are nice.
Pretty. 8 of them are really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Gum Giant's crazy. Such a good card.
Don't get me started on that card. That card has ruined so many games already.
Yo.
I'm just like, why do you have this? Why don't I have this?
How many cards in
I
hand?
have-
7 still? Sick. Okay.
It's okay. I got Gecko. It'll be okay.
Yeah, sure.
What was your thought process for like the list? Because your list is like, there's a lot of it that's like obviously like the standard Lucci, but then there's like a few card choices that are more unique than like a lot of the rest of the list that top and did well.
Yeah. So I play Uta. I think that's the biggest difference between like other lists. I actually started on Uta at the beginning of 8.5. I actually took it out for a bit and then re-put it back in for this event, and that's just because Dofi is just like such a problem in this matchup. I think the other way to go is you play Kuzan, and I didn't play Kuzan because I felt like it's like good for sure, definitely good against like Purple Luffy, but the Uta comes out earlier. It's like pretty respectful into like decks like Blackbeard where like they just can't swing at it, so you get free swings at their was it Lafitte, and it's
Yeah.
a 2K, 3K body, stuff like that. The Uta just like helped a lot more in my mind, and that's kind of why I picked the list that I did. Other than that, it's pretty standard. It's mainly to fight the Dofi matchup, and then a little bit more on the Lucci side. I play like 3 jacks for that reason. I do play 1 Saba, which is kind of iffy, but it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're kind of the cult of Sabo over here, so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
These
Yeah,
guys
I
are trying to
definitely
go to
wanna move it to
4 at some
2.
point, so it's
Yeah,
crazy
okay.
work.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I won't rehash it because I think we talked about it
Mhm.
a little while ago. But I think most of us just aren't a fan of the 5-drop Kaku, and I think prefer the sub shape.
Okay.
So that's just kind of where we ended up on the list.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That's good to
Yeah.
know.
The Uta
How
come
did
up
you
a
like-
lot because I'm a big Uta fan myself, so I'm just curious if like it actually came up a good bit because I'm like in testing a lot, like Dofi effectively just says here's law and puts Uta back, and then it will you just kind of nothing essentially. So
Right.
I guess like
Yeah, so-
Purple Luffy, it's incredible. I won't deny that. But like with the Shanks builds going to Red Hawk and Marco and such, yeah, it also becomes a little less effective in that point as well too. So I'm just kind of curious there.
I definitely agree with that. Not every deck plays like the Red Hawk build, for example, and some decks also don't play Marco. You also don't have to. I know. You also don't have to play Uta early on.
Mhm.
You can like hold it as like a mini like soap sheep, and just if you have Brook established, for example, you just like play the Uta and then push it out. It's also great when you like don't need the Helmeppo, Suru, or if you don't want to play Spandam, you can just play out the Uta to prep the big Shanks bodies. So like you can Gecko and bring out the Uta, and then next turn you like Uta leader ability, and then just play a Kaido, and the 10 drops dead, for example. So it's just good prepping for like later turns. Yeah, against Dofi, Law is not great, but that means they're not like. I think that like Law is good in the matchup for sure. But I would rather them play Law than like the 6 costs. Or sorry, the 6K bodies. So like the what's his name? Weevil. They just like retain a bunch of hand. Ideally, I want to like push their hand down really small, like kill all the board, and then go for game, right? So if they hit like 4 Weevils, it's like a lot harder and it slows me down a lot. Um, Law will bounce my Uta. I can play it back, and then they're bouncing that card over like a blocker or maybe like a Brook, right? And that's what I felt about the card. The card like does work at least once. If they Jinbei and then do something early, they'll swing at the Uta, and that's like mini blocker. It came up twice against the Jonas matchup. I saw it on turn, my 2 Dawn to 3 Dawn turn both times. So it just like really helped slow him down a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. I got really lucky, honestly, but it's good. Yeah.
Let's just say the main thing that I wanted to mess with Uda for was because of like the gecko value, where you get to like essentially just like stagger for next turn for reduction, so you don't have to rely on hand as much.
Right.
But with your list, you're not playing Hina, and I feel like Hina was the card that I was like in my head would like enable her to be like more broken.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. I was actually really unsure about putting Hina in. I had it in, I took it out. I had it in, I took it out. My only problem with the card, I actually really like it. The only problem with the card is it doesn't have shield. And I put the Kakus in because shield, CP, and it kills 3 cost. So that was what I put in for it. It was just Kaku. And then the 3K counter, because I wanted a little bit more consistency. But I really hate whiffing with Spandam, and it happens so much for me. It's like pretty bad. Yeah, that's the main reason. I still think Hina has a lot of value. I just decided not to play it for this event.
Yeah, I think you play the there's like 2 extra slots. I think these are the 2 Kakus that you play for counter, and then I think instead we're playing the Hina.
Okay.
But
You guys
yeah,
play 2
the 0
Hina?
cost. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
We're
But I
reminiscent
mean,
of
yeah.
RHL, you know.
Yeah, but you probably, I don't know, with your list you probably would just value the Uda more than a Hina, and it's like a like slightly just like weaker Hina, but it's a lot less greedy probably. But yeah, how did you like Tukaido? I feel like Tukaido was interesting because I think going into the event, like I saw a lot of lists were on 1 if they ran any, and then like Andy's list didn't play any and just played the 7 top end, so I didn't know if the Kaido as like extra top end helped you at all.
Kaido definitely helps. I actually really like the Kaido. I don't think I'd change it. Just because it's good against like Blackbeard overall. That's the main one, right? But it's just like it kills the high bodies for almost no committal. So like Gecko, you just like play the Kaido and you're done, right? Same thing for like Shank's 8 cost. You just play the Kaido. You can hold your Ice Ages and your Tempest kicks and just play the Kaido when you need to, and it pops the 8 cost for free. Same thing with like the purple Luffy if you need to. I know it's not good against Dofi, but I think you like kind of want to establish the Jack on 7 and like you pitch out the Kaidos, Sabo if you have time. It's not good against the Dofi matchup, but overall I think in my opinion it's pretty necessary and helpful for the deck.
Yeah. As you're also playing 0 drop, so you have an extra way to dump it anyways, so it's not the end of the world. Yeah, no, at this point you have so many different ways to discard. I feel like you can definitely get away with playing 2. It's just more of I was curious how much it helped. I feel like with the Uda as well, because the Uda plus it makes it to where it kills a 10, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you could definitely like the Gecko prep Uda, and then like next turn you have Uda Kaido for a 10 drop seems really annoying for Shanks.
Yeah.
But yeah. I was just curious how much the Kaido came up because, like, yeah, I was playing 1, and when I saw him, like, he was like game warping. But I don't know if I would have ever been able to afford to play more than 1 in the event, and I don't think it would have come up because the Hina saved me a good amount of times this weekend or last weekend.
That makes sense.
Was there anything you would change from your list or that like you weren't happy with overall?
I think this is all like hindsight and cope. Overall, I was pretty happy with the list. I definitely should probably consider at least 2 Sabo. My list was curated to like beat Dofis and stuff more than BY and Blackbeard. So I'm actually changing the list now just to try and see how well I could have done into BY and Blackbeard. But it's more, it was definitely curated to like at least top 32, beat out the Dofis, do pretty well into Lucci and Shanks and stuff, Purple Luffy. And yeah, I don't think I changed too much about the list, except for maybe the Sabo going to 2.
Honestly, like I was messing with your list, and if I kept the Udas in, I think the only change was like I cut a 2K for a Sabo, and like that was like good enough to balance it out. And besides that,
Yeah.
like the 2 Kaidos is already enough for most of like I think like because like in testing, like seeing one Kaido against BY made the matchup already closer, and if you saw like a good hand going into it, it was like insane.
Yeah, I agree with that. Kaido's very good for the matchup, so.
But the
Or
problem
pretty
is,
good for the matchup.
yeah, the only problem is like if they can remove a top, then you lose. But that's just
Yeah.
always gonna be the case with the matchup, so it doesn't really matter.
I agree.
Yeah, it was unfortunate the finals. I was really hoping that you guys would be like a 1-1 and be really close, but yeah, it seemed like he had mostly everything, and you were struggling for anything. It
Yeah,
looked like.
it was a wash. It was rough. Yeah.
Yeah, the adding back double 1K off Rebecca, I was like, yeah, I feel your pain.
Yeah. Yeah. My mills were bad. I decided to be like a little greedy with it because it was just overall kind of rough, and it just didn't work out either. So
Yeah,
it was just not
I mean,
great.
hey, you get the swing super for 8, so
Yeah.
who can
Yes,
complain, you
sir.
know?
Yes,
It
sir.
was worth it.
Hmm.
But I mean, at that point, we already were all like, yeah, it's probably over, but like, it's funny, and I
Yeah.
understood. It was worth it for sure.
Yeah. I
But
agree.
yeah, were you confident in the list like going in the event, or were you like unsure in your matchup spread?
In this event, so this was actually my very first, like, big One Piece event. So I didn't really know how to like envision it. I've been to like a lot of big events for different card games, but because One Piece is like my very first event, not even online, this is just my first event overall. I wasn't sure how to like expect much or like what to expect from the One Piece community as a whole. So I think that first match really dictated how I'd see going forward, and I was pretty lucky to hit that. They were really nice, and just it was a good tone overall throughout the event. I think my list was pretty good overall. And I think I just hit my bracket was like really good for me for both my testing, my list, and just overall as a whole. It was really nice. Yeah, I think I
gotcha.
got lucky. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
that's
play?
what it means.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we take those.
Mhm.
Did you play Dragon
Dude.
Ball? I know you played Digimon. Did you play any Dragon Ball? Because you kept saying Shield, and I was like, oh, you might have played
Oh
Dragon Ball.
no, I didn't
Or is
play
that
Dragon
Vanguard?
Ball. I assume, yeah, Shield probably came from Vanguard. Yeah, I was a big Vanguard person for a long time.
Gotcha. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was just say Vanguard and Digimon fed into One Piece a lot. Like, there's a lot of
it
people
did.
from both those games that fed in.
Yeah, I think that One Piece is like the combination of the two in my mind, so it just kind of it's easy to like transition into for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of Digimon translated really well. I barely played Vanguard, but like whenever I first started, like I had locals who would play in the Vanguard formation still, and
Nice.
I was like, I hate this, but I get why you're doing it, so I'm not gonna say a word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Vanguard was my thing back in the day, but yeah, it's way past now. Same with
Yeah,
Digi, unfortunately, but yeah.
as is Bandai Games, it is what it is.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah. Did you have any like really close games that like you were like, dang, I really got lucky there, or like you just clutched out the win, like very close games?
I did have a couple. I think in Swiss I played against a Lucci that I thought I was gonna lose. I think he overextended a little bit, and then I like Rebecca Sabo to kind of stabilize. He like overextended by like playing a Kaku, the 2K, and I think like a Helmeppo, which is kind of just a weird play to do. But that was like he was going for game, I guess, and I just didn't have a lot of resources. But Rebecca Sabo really like cleaned up and I won from there. It's kind of weird. I thought that I was gonna lose, but I think that play won me the game. There was another one where I like actively decided in Shanks I was gonna lose to Dragon if I didn't see a 2K in life, and I gambled it and I hit it. So that was like game one, so it wasn't too big of a deal. But I knew that I would lose to Dragon if I didn't see a 2K in life, and I just accepted that fact and then went from there. Um, was that it? I think the top 16 against Shanks went to game 3, and we were worried about time, and so I think that I kind of cheesed that matchup just because because we were both worried about time, and I just had the better. I kind of hit the sack, I hit the nut, and he just played for time in like not the greatest situation there. I think there's like 16 minutes for the game 3, and he played for time, which was kind of interesting. Yeah, and I like broke double ice age, killed the 10 cost, so it was really gross. Yeah,
That's
it
gross.
was really gross. Yeah, like twice.
Were you?
So it's gross.
Did you double
Yeah.
pop? Did you double pop his ace?
I did double pop his ace. Game 3, I think he like because we were on time, he like didn't really commit till late game. So he just like put Dawn on leader, swung in, right? A bunch.
Yeah.
That ace, I feel like that ace wasn't super relevant or didn't show up that game 3. But I did double pop his ace game 1 or game 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's one of the Florida locals. He like walked
Oh,
out and
okay.
he like talked to me right after, and he's like, "Bro, he double popped my ace," and I was like,
Okay.
"Yeah,
Okay.
that's kind of the
Yeah.
nut."
Yeah. It is. It is. Yeah. Ace is strong. And gross.
That card's terrifying.
Yeah. It
I'm
is.
glad people
It
are only
is.
playing like 3 to 2 of it right now.
Yep.
I will not
Yep.
complain. Um, yeah, and then I guess overall, like, were you happy with your deck choice, or do you think, like, looking back, you should have stuck with Shanks? I mean, obviously you got second, but like,
Mhm.
ignoring results, like, were you just like happy with how the deck played, or like you like regretting swapping?
I definitely was happy with how the deck played overall. I don't think I'd swap back. Obviously, results matter a lot in the
Yeah,
end, but I think I was just more comfortable with the deck because I had a little bit less time to play test, in my opinion. So I was just more comfortable with Lucci as a whole, and I just needed to like solidify my matchup spread and what I'm doing, my game plan, versus like learning and figuring out a whole deck with Shanks and um, going from there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
definitely don't
is.
regret it.
It's pretty tricky doing that 5-7-9. 5-7-9-10 with Shanks is rough, man. I hear ya.
Yeah.
yeah. I know. Like, my biggest thing is like anytime I swap like decks, like last second, I feel like I'm either coping myself out of playing the correct choice, or I like mess up because I don't know the deck as well as I should have for the event. So
Okay.
I was just curious if like you had any like if you like regretted swapping. But I guess if you were still learning Shanks too, then it seemed like you weren't like committed either
Yeah.
way yet.
I really wanted that Dofi matchup down. I just couldn't get it like really down without like just having, correct curve obviously, right? Or just
Yeah.
building the deck a specific way. So yeah, I got beat down a
Yeah.
bit.
I
Yeah.
was testing Shanks and I came to a similar conclusion where it's just like even if I build it properly, like if I don't draw the Red Hawks on curve or like stuff like that, and the matchup is just like drastically worse. And I was just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
the same reason I got off Luffy too. Like both the decks were like in the same boat for me, where it's just like my Dofi matchup is too inconsistent for me to want to play it.
Mhm. I agree with that.
But yeah. And then I guess do you have any plans for like what you're gonna do to like prep for Worlds, or have you really thought that far ahead yet? I guess we actually
I
only have a
have.
month for Worlds, right?
Yeah. I think
Or
2.
no, a
It's
month and
Two.
like
a
Yeah,
half.
a month and
March
a half.
16th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think overall, I really want to see how the meta develops. Just to see how relevant Blackbeard gets and like how the BY plays around with it or not. Um, this upcoming treasure cups are pretty good, representation of what I think might be coming up. In terms of like testing, I'm already playing around with a Lucci list. I don't know if I'm actually gonna play Lucci, but might as well prep while we can and do what I can. A lot of people told me to message like Jackson and stuff, and I'm kind of shy, so I don't do that. But I should definitely test against like good people and just get a general spread on how other people play, right? Before going into Worlds. I just have
Yeah.
to get there and do that. Yeah.
Get the confidence to go message them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're crazy.
Uh, yeah, that's fair. Do you think is Shanks your pocket if you don't end up sticking to Lucci, or do you think you might just pivot to an entirely different deck between the
Yeah,
two?
Shanks is my like small pocket. Besides those two decks, I'm totally open to like really grinding different decks. Um, I'm okay with like BY. I've kind of learned it. Just I don't want to learn the Blackbeard matchup.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't want to play Blackbeard just because I don't like the character, but I know it's good, and yeah, it is what it is. I think those are the other two that I was considering, but I don't think the other decks, like Purple Luffy, right? It's like the curve, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that. Yeah.
I think the deck's like fine. I think it's too linear for me a lot of the time when I play it. I feel like I'm very restricted in my plays, which is why I wasn't a fan of it. At least with Shanks, I feel like I have some flexibility, even if it's like just on like which top end piece to pick. I feel like that's more than just like Luffy Taro, and what piece of Luffy Taro do I have in hand?
Yeah, I
And
agree.
did you have
yeah.
another Luffy Taro? Oh no.
Right.
All right. Guess you lost. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair. And then I guess just to wrap it up, was there anything like, because I know you're from Hawaii, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So is there anything you did like in like after the event or outside of the event that was interesting? I don't know if it was your first time there. Or...
Second time there, I was at Florida way back for like one of the Vanguard big events. I went to, I think, well, I went with my Hawaii crew, and that was really nice. So we just went to like Disney World. I went to SeaWorld and stuff. It was just really fun hanging with the boys and chilling. I think that was great. Yeah, that's pretty
yeah.
much it.
So you guys had a good time outside of it.
It
I was my
was,
thing
yeah.
was like my thing was like I feel like I didn't stay an extra day, and we got there the day before, so I don't feel like I had a ton of extra time. So it was just more of like hanging out at night, basically. But
Oh,
I mean, it was a
okay.
good trip. It was a fun trip though, for sure.
Nice. Yeah, we arrived like Thursday night and then left Wednesday, so we had like
Oh,
basically the whole
okay.
week. Yeah, and then just to adjust, right? It was time
Yeah.
difference and all the plane rides and stuff. Yeah.
I gotcha. So you had the extra days built in to like actually go do stuff outside of the event. Either
Yeah.
way.
It was nice.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, that sounds way more fun.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Would not do that.
Yeah. I say I flew back Monday. We drove back
Yeah.
Monday.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Flew
Okay.
back Monday.
Yeah.
The snowstorm was awesome. Great time.
Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is what it is. But yeah. Anything you want to close out with?
No. You know, if Jackson and them see this and want to hit me up, if you guys want to hit me up for playtesting, I'm super down. You know, just want to grind games, so I think practice overall is super helpful. So it helped me for Worlds.
Hey,
You know.
if you ever want to ping us and play the mirror or test into whatever, just let me know.
Sure.
I'm down to
Thank
play.
you.
Yeah.
That would be great.
We're pretty much the cult of Lucci over here with a few dopey players.
I'm
And then
down.
I think I'm
We take
switching to
those.
BY because Lucci sucks. But anyways.
Ooh. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching you play at Worlds. Really excited. I'm hoping
Thank
that
you.
you can rep Lucci if no one else will.
Yes, sir. I hope so too. I'll be honest. I really want to play Lucci. I do.
Yeah. I think it's
You want to be
fun.
the one out of
Is it
the one out of the
09?
32?
Is Worlds
Yeah,
09?
it's 09.
Oh,
It is 09,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, bro, there's no
yeah.
shot someone's taking BY or like taking Blackbeard into a sea of Dofi at Worlds. That'd be bonkers,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
BY's dicey, but like no shot there's a Blackbeard player.
Yeah. Well, the meta's like a lot smaller, right? The
Mhm.
whole pool
Yeah.
is smaller.
Yeah.
So I can like expect there might be someone who like takes Blackbeard and kind of runs train, maybe. But it is still rough, right?
Yeah.
It's what?
Yeah,
It's
Dofi.
32 people, best of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like going into it, I'd assume like half the room is just like half of
Really?
this like 32 is always
Remember
Dofi.
last
I get
year,
that.
Sakazuki was what, like 11 out of 16? Like,
Okay.
it was
Jesus.
obscene. It was like
Yeah.
Jonas on an L, another guy on Ploofy, and then a Zoro player. And like,
Yeah.
Crazy.
But we'll see. I mean, I think this event's pretty well balanced. Honestly, you could probably just metagame based off what people qualified with, and like see if that's like a good like tell of how many of each region like had their representative playing what.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was noting for sure. It's just what they qualified with.
That'll hopefully help. And then yeah, you have all 4 treasure cups, and then you have Dallas, the One Piece Day event. Which are you going to that, or is it too close to Worlds for
No,
you?
it's too close. I did think about
Yeah.
it, but it's too close. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Jackson and them were in the same boat where they were like, yeah, I'd be fun to go, but it's like literally a week before Worlds, and it's just
Yeah.
like I can't reason going to both.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same.
but I mean it's good. It's still good data. It's what 6 regionals and then
Yep,
the 4
3,000
from
people.
the 4 treasure cups.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's
you got
crazy.
like 10 events of data should help a little bit, and then
It
yeah,
definitely should. I agree.
but yeah. overall, I'm excited to watch, and I wish you luck, man.
Thank you. I
Yeah, man.
appreciate it.
Do us
I
Lucci
appreciate
players
it.
proud.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dude.
But that's all from us, guys, and I'll see you guys next video.